Hello and welcome back to our tutorial. When we left, we were working on the form, and one thing, there is no margin, or the padding didn't work. It was set to 2. So we're going to work on this form and try to get it to look as close to this as possible. So let's go in, and for the labels, we put the width at 20%. That looks okay. So now let's work on the input. For the input, we'll set the margin bottom to a half a EM. Let's see what it does. Okay, that gave it some space. That looks fine. And then we'll move it away from, let's put the margin left to 1 EM. That looks fine, except that the text area didn't move because these are inputs. And then we'll set the width to, let's say, 70%. So we have 90% on the line so far. Good. Okay, that looks great. So now we'll work on the text area. This is the text area here, this big area. This allows people to enter comments. And this data that you see here, enter comments, enter email address, enter name, that's for accessibility. That's for 508, Section 508 compliance, ADA compliance. So you don't have to do that, but if you want your code to be compliant, ADA compliant, then you should. So we will do the text area the same way. We'll set the inline, set it to the display to inline block, and we'll give it a height. Of 5 EM. And we'll set the margin bottom to that also, to the exact same thing. We'll see, and the margin left. And we'll set the width exactly the same. And semicolon and take a look. Save, refresh. That looks fine. And then we'll try it in the other two browsers and see how it comes out. So that looks fine. I don't like the way the button looks, so let's change the button just a tad. And what did we call the button? It's just a button. So we have a button. It has an ID of submit. You could just use an input of type submit, but it's your choice. There's no rhyme or reason to do either one. So we called it a button. So we'll just call we'll set all buttons to look the same way. I think that's all we need to do. And for the form itself, did we do anything for the form? We have the form div, but we didn't do anything for the form. So for the form, let's set the padding to 5 pixels. That's going to go all the way around, and then we'll set the width to 100%. Now let's take a look. It looks fine, except for if you look real closely, can you see that? That looks bad. That's not uniform to me. I don't like that. So let's see if we can increase the width of the text area. Say, let's start with 2 and see what that's too much. Let's do 1. That looks fine. Okay. So there you go. Here is the original graphic. This is what was sent to us. This is what we developed in this tutorial. As you can see, it mimics it exactly. I still don't like how big this font is, and I don't like that this comment is down the bottom, so we'll move that up. And let's just get this URL and take a look at it. And it looks fine. Everything looks fine. I don't like that. You see that? I don't like how much white space there is there also. Internet Explorer takes forever, so we're not going to wait. Now, while we're waiting, let's go and do some cleanup. I try to keep all of the CSS in alphabetical order. It's not it's not a rule. You don't have to do that, but remember, there's always going to be a programmer following you. Wait, look at Internet Explorer. It looks bad. There is no gradient on the side, so we'll have to fix that. At this point, all we're doing is we're going to make sure that our style sheet is in good order. Again, none of this is required. This is just something that you should do to remember there's always going to be someone following you, and the company that you're working for, really they expect you to they're paying you, so you really want to be on an expert level. This is just one tiny little thing you can do to polish your code to make sure that it looks good for the person behind who's following you, who has to read it. So I try to do it as I'm coding, but from time to time you get involved with your code and you just keep going till you get it done, and then you can go back and clean things up. That's pretty much it. Bottom left, text align, display height width, that's fine. Margin left, oh no, float. So there you have it. That's it for this tutorial. Next we're going to build, we'll start a new project that will include some Java. Oh, I'm sorry. We need to put some JavaScript in to handle the form. So we'll do that in the next tutorial. Okay, thank you for watching. See you in the next tutorial.